ABC pulled Jimmy Kimmel's show off the air indefinitely, and is saying it's because of FCC commissioner pressure. Just so you know, what is FCC commissioner is one of the five heads of the Federal Communications Commissions. FCC, the U.S. government agency responsible for regulating communications. The president appoints these commissioners, and the Senate must confirm them for 5-year terms, with no more than 3 being from the same political party. The president also designates one commissioner to serve as the FCC chairman. So you know that what we are talking about, the FCC. I mean, it's coming after Brian Barr, I guess it's his name. He was in Benny Johnson show, and he was saying like, we can do this in the soft way or hard way. Like, either you're gonna pull him out of the show, like he was almost threatening allegedly, or putting pressure on the ABC, either you do it by yourself or we're gonna do it for you. And now they are saying like other one star or something needed a permission from the FCC. So they knew that in order to make them pleased, and I don't know if one star has something to do with the ABC, well, probably from under same branch or company, because it's ABC Disney. And then they had to change some regulations, so in order to get what they wanted, and FCC could do that for them. So in order to please them, so they say, oh yeah, all right, we're gonna fire Jimmy Kimmel. We're gonna pull off his shows. So then you could give us what we want. Basically, that was kind of like a behind the stage deal. But now everyone is saying, from Barack Obama to all of these leftist news media, even independent or establishment, oh, it is against freedom of speech. Where's the freedom of speech? And so that's the issue. I laid out the issue for you, and I'm gonna talk about that, all different layers, how to look at it, the perspective. One of them is, the leftists are saying, oh, right wingers, they have been talking about the freedom of speech because we were censored heavily during the Biden's time, whether it was for the COVID or vaccine or Ukraine Russia war, for what have you. So we were heavily canceled, like the cancel culture was at its peak, and we were saying, well, guys, we are all human, we are all Americans, and it is not the right way to do that with this pressure that you are coming after us. So now they are saying, like, you guys kept talking about that, about freedom of speech, and now you guys are doing this. So the answer to these people, the leftists, like Barack Obama, is saying, oh, whether you are for MAGA or against MAGA, or pro MAGA, still you have to have freedom of speech. The problem is, you guys didn't do that, and now you are blaming us for not being loyal to what we are claiming. Yeah, that's a different story. You can say you guys have been talking about the freedom of speech for years, and now that you guys have the power, you are not doing that. Yeah, that's correct. But you guys don't. You are not entitled to do that. Like, libertarian can say that, the independent can say that. But those people who were supporting, who were pro cancel culture, like I remember the crystal ball, the girl in the Breaking Point with the saga. The guy in the Jubilee, when he said I'm fascist, so he lost his job, and she was talking about that. Actually, it was on the Breaking Point. Crystal was with her husband and was talking, and they were like, they were happy about that. Oh yeah, you are fascist. You admit you are fascist. You lose the job. That's a good thing. So they were celebrating. Like, it's not for a long time ago. That happened 2 months ago. Mehdi Hassan was in the Jubilee. They were celebrating everyone who lost their job, but now they are crying about the freedom of speech. So I think even if we can make the case, maybe if Republicans were so worried about the freedom of speech, they shouldn't do something such that. But you guys don't have any validation. You don't have any credibility to talk about such a things, because not only you were part of the cancel culture, not only you were advocating for the censorship, the pressure from the government, the Biden governments, to every companies to fire people like us on the right side. Not only that, you were celebrating, you were cheering. So it's crocodile tears. So I don't buy that. So they don't have any right to talk about that. That's one. The second is, and now we have to see what he said. He was saying, like, basically what he was saying, it's like, we know for sure the shooter was Charlie Kirk shooter was one of the MAGAs, and MAGAs are trying to like basically label him, the shooter, as somebody else, like LGBTQ community, transgender community, whatever, and leftist stuff. So he was saying basically, we all know that he was MAGA, but MAGA is trying their best to label him as a leftist. So we all know that based on the text messages from FBI. Anyway, in the parenthesis, I don't buy everything that FBI is saying. So there are so many flaws there. But let's go with what they are saying, right? We all know that that's a false, that's a lie. And when he aired the show, it was way after the FBI publicized and released those messages, him with his boyfriend, trans boyfriend. So we know that for sure, like he wasn't MAGA, he was against that. But he still labeled them. And the reason that he labeled them, because his parents in the text message says, my father was full MAGA after Trump got to the office, blah, 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 etc. What does it have to do? Like his father didn't encourage him to do that. And everyone say, yeah, we know that that was a stupid and dumb message, but so what? So what? The reason that we are here is because of those so whats. Because of those keep lying in those leftist media late night shows, Jimmy Kimmel, all of these people on the left, they kept saying BSS. So they changed the narrative and they fabricated the truth. So people, especially at the young ages, they started to believe those stuff. And eventually it leads to something like that. So what? Yeah, I tell you, so what? When you keep lying and you are hateful about one group of people, eventually some of them going to be radicalized. So it's not like, so what? We are in the so what. That was the reason that you all got, because for example, like he was saying like Charlie Kirk was a fascist or something, like when he was, nothing about Charlie Kirk, what he said. I'm not a big fan of him, even though he was on my side. He was Republican, but I wasn't a big fan of his show. Like I prefer Tucker Carlson or Candace Owens over him. But he mentioned nothing with that. Like he was pro freedom of speech. He was going to talk with the people from different sides, right? So it cannot be further than truth. But what I'm saying right now is you keep lying in your shows about this group of people, eventually people are going to keep hating. And even in those text messages, still, I'm not sure if I'm going to believe that or not, but it says, oh, I had very full hate of him. I had so much hate of him. Some hates cannot be negotiated. Where did those hate come from? From these lies, from these stupid comments that you are saying. So don't say, so what? The Charlie Kirk's death is so what? That's for two. So eventually they should face the consequence. You cannot lie about one group of people, keep lying, and something like that happen and expect to not be responsible. That's the lightest thing you could face, which was your show gets off there. And yeah, I know that it has Stephen Colbert lost because he was costing his network. His sponsor $60 million, so the net was $60 million negative. But I don't know about I know that his rate was very low for Jimmy Kimmel, but I don't know if his net was negative. Maybe they were looking for the excuse to fire him without saying, oh, we fired him, and now nobody gonna blame ABC. Everyone say, oh, they did that under pressure. Still, they are getting blamed. Oh, why did you care? But what could they do? And Jimmy Kimmel lost so many of his conservatives. He admitted himself. And the third one is like, okay, forget about the left, forget about Jimmy Kimmel. Now let's look at it with the unbiased and neutral view. When you look at this, what he said, yeah, are you free to say stupid stuff? Yeah, of course. Are you free to be wrong? Yes, of course. Hate speech is part of freedom of speech? Yes, of course. All of them is correct, right? But now we are talking about somebody's death, because something that is not protected by First Amendment is if you are advocating for the violent, right? So the only way that we could say, like, okay, it's not protected by freedom of speech, if the stupid comment, the dumb comment, according to that, which I think it was hateful comment, it was evil comment, not only dumb comment. But let's go with that term, dumb comment from the Jimmy Kimmel. Could it lead to further hate? Could it lead to the basically violence? Because yeah, I agree totally. If I say something and someone else interpreted my word to the some way and say, oh, I got motivated by Amir's word to go do something, I said, well, I didn't say that, I didn't advocate for that, it's not my responsibility. Somebody wanted to interpret my word. Yeah, I totally understand. It's not like anybody can use my word and twist it and then go do the crime and say, oh, because of Amir influenced me. No, it's wrong. But what I'm saying is, if people are getting killed, and instead of you either shut up, don't talk about that, or be truthful, and then let's see what's the problem, so we could prevent that from the further crimes in the similar manner. But when you do that, you use every single incident to use the flame, to fuel the flame against your opponent, which is MAGA or right wingers, then it means there's no salvation, because we're just going to see more hate and more hate and more hate and more crime and more crime and more crime. Let's be honest, Jimmy Kimmel has been lying and saying the stupid stuff for years. But this one was different because somebody just died. And the person who killed him says, because of I was full of hate. And who is the responsible for these hates? These late night shows, those news media, those people, those influencers. How many people gonna show watch my show? Not so many. So I don't have that much influence. How many millions gonna watch Jimmy Kimmel show? So many. So for that reason, we have to see, like, bro, what you are saying, yeah, maybe this one you didn't advocate for violence, but you are leading to that. So there should be more conversation. I'm against censorship. Everyone should be free to say that, say whatever, as long as you're not advocating for violence. But I'm saying, while you are trying to blame MAGA for that assassination, you are calling these people for, so, oh, these people are the killer. So I think, well, I mean, it happens when Jimmy Kimmel says, I can say most stupid things, more wild things online, and nobody stops me. So why should he stop saying those? Eventually, with this accountability, right now you're going to see people on the left going to be a little more responsible for what they're saying. They're going to have the second thought before they say stupid stuff. Because from till now, till Jimmy Kimmel's show being pulled off, everyone was saying, like, what most obnoxious thing I can say to get the view or click. Now they say, oh, it's not only about the click, it's about accountability. And now they're saying, look, Trump is going, yeah, because they lied about Trump for so many years and he's defending himself. If they lied about me, I would sue them as well. Like, you would do that as well, everyone. So Trump is practicing his right. He's not using his power. They lied about many stuff that he didn't, and we all knew that, like the Russia hoax. Everyone knows that. So who were promising and swearing that it is real, those people now should be accountable for lie. So basically, freedom of speech doesn't say that you can lie without accountability. You lied and now you're accountable. Yeah, I know that FCC put the pressure on the ABC, but they still, it doesn't take off the responsibility of Jimmy Kimmel for doing a stupid stuff. And now we are talking about a murder. It wasn't talking about some, how to say, rage bait or kind of like some trending discussion. It was like murder of one innocent man in front of thousands of people. And this is not something that we should take it lightly. We have to make sure it never happens anymore. So I'm happy with any punishment that make people on the left to not raise hate against each other, and maybe it could bring us back together so we could have the dialogue and monologue. Literally what Charlie Kirk was trying to do. He was trying to bring people together, to bring the common sense, which have nothing but respect for that. And the last thing, but not least, it is my idea, maybe it is the conspiracy theory, but I think that's also, it serves a couple of purposes, like, like one stone, two birds or something. It's gonna serve as, now we're gonna have more censorship about other stuff unrelated to the death of Charlie Kirk or murder or hate speech or advocating for violence. I am kind of afraid this level of censorship eventually be expanded to the Israel-Palestine issue. I don't know yet. I don't have any evidence for that, but I am a little skeptical. I'm a little worried. Like, with these laws they're gonna pass, they call anything that you say, oh, we don't want to fund another countries, they call it as a hateful because you hate those group of people. So also you will be subjected to this punishment that Jimmy Kimmel faced. So if it stops right now, that's one thing. But if it is the beginning of the one expansion of the censorship to not let anybody criticize our foreign policies, that can be scary. And these two shouldn't be conflicted with each other, shouldn't be confused with each other. And look, till now, it's okay. More than that, it's gonna be not okay. So let's see what happens. Thanks for watching. And like always, as above, so below.